Greetings to one and all joining us for this pre-recorded show, early doors on a Monday morning for the Tuesday meeting out at the Vaal. And looking at the card, doesn't look all that easy, and that's why we got Alistair Cohen on the line. Alistair, firstly, how are you doing? And then looking at the card, it looks one of those cards where you can make quite a bit of money if you structure your perms correctly.
Hello, Sheldon. Hello to all the viewers. I think you've pretty much given the lowdown on the card pretty much in its entirety. We got 2 days of Halfveld racing, 2 days of Vaal racing, Tuesday and Wednesday. That's to accommodate the sales in Joburg on Thursday and Friday. Dare I say, this card might be a little bit more easy on the eye than Wednesday's card. Wednesday is very, very tricky. But yeah, it's a standalone Tuesday. Obviously, Wednesday is a double header with Hollywoodbets Durbanville scheduled to take place. I've structured a place accumulator as my bet of the day, and hopefully that's the right exotic that I've chosen. I think as you say, I think you've got to tread a little bit carefully and choose what works best for you in the way that the card suits your eye. But if you do come out on the other side with any type of profit, you've done very, very well. That'll be a bit of a brag to your mates.
So let's get straight into race number 1, which is a work riders race over 1,000 meters, 12:25 the time you need to get your bets on. Number 7, Miss Monroe, is at 7-10, and then number 5, Bellisivar, at 4-1. What do you think about the 7-10 about number 7, Miss Monroe? Would you be taking those short odds, or would you be looking elsewhere?
No, Sheldon, I wouldn't take those short odds. Look, I think she's got a winning chance, but I'm tipping number 5, Bellisivar, on top with blinkers on for the first time. She is quick. The Vaal's running extremely quick. Outside draw down the straight is a good sign. Pelasila Makawa and Tony Peter are like family. The form of that Salinio Peninsula is working out quite nicely. Bellisivar finishing 5th, 4 1/4 lengths behind Salinio Peninsula. Second horse, Autumn Var, came out and won. I'd like to believe that Autumn Var beat a field much stronger than what Bellisivar runs with. Line in the Sky, who ran 3rd, was a trifle disappointing running 3rd the next time. And Hey Hey Julia, who ran 4th just in front of Bellisivar, came out and ran 2nd. So I think that the form that Bellisivar brings in is just a little bit stronger than anything that Miss Monroe brings in, whether at Hollywoodbets Scottsville or in Joburg. Chamo Mabaya takes it out for Paul Matchett. So I'm definitely avoiding the 7-10 and going with number 5, Bellisivar. What interests me here is that we got a 7-10 favourite trained by Matchett, and we got 3 first-timers trained by Matchett, all with accomplished work riders on board. Anati Feni is Joburg's most successful work rider over the last 2 years, never mind 12 months, and he rides number 10, Luna Rainbow, a daughter of Rabada, who's bred for double this trip. But I'd be looking at any support for number 10, Luna Rainbow, potentially getting into the top 4. But 5 from 7 from me, and then it won't take much for one of these Matchett first-timers to run into the top 4, and I think number 10, Luna Rainbow, could be the one to make quartets pay if she doesn't find any support, just simply because of the work rider that's on board.
Then we'll go on to race number 2, and at the early time of recording, there are 2 scratchings. You can take out numbers 5 and 6, Silver 7, and also Kwacha Blitz. So there's 2 runners out in race number 2. Number 8, Smashing, the filly taking on the boys, is trading at 18-10. Number 2, Pacific, 28-10, and then it's 33-10 about number 7, Pursuit of Fame. Clinton Binder, Samanga Kamalo for the Hollywood Syndicate. Number 8, Smashing. Potential banker?
Yeah, I've bankered her in the first leg of the PA, which is my suggested bet here, Sheldon. It wouldn't necessarily be my go to bank her a 10-start maiden, but Smashing finished in front of Autumn Var, who we just discussed 2 minutes ago, who was a subsequent winner from the run to Kia Kaha, and then obviously following up to the run to Salinio Peninsula. Smashing finishing in front of Autumn Var. I think that's going to set up Smashing well. It's a shallow race, this. I had time for the stable companion, who sadly is scratched. When you look around and try and make a case for the others, I suppose Pacific's got to come into the discussion. Mari Scorp has got some sort of scope to improve. But I think Smashing's in the right time, the right place. It would be a deserving winner when she gets the job done. Pursuit of Fame ran a much improved race last time, but that was in a work riders race and a very weak work riders race, and I'd like to see a confirmation of that run rather than trusting that that's the level of form, or certainly the numbers that he's going to bring more consistently into the play. Also, being a filly against boys gets a very valuable swing at the weights, outside draw, down the straight in the Vaal Classic. I think it all sets up for number 8 Smashing. If she doesn't run into the first 3, I will be blown away, and I think this is her best chance of winning. So banker for me in the bipod and the place accumulator.
Right, let's move on to race number 3, and this will be run over a distance of 2,000 meters. And just taking a look, scratched is number 1, Special Charm. Now, see, you've gone with 2 runners here in your place accumulator. Number 4, Say It With Roses, the current 22-10 favorite. And then number 7, Alpha Betty at 6-1. Now, looking at this race, a horse like Say It With Roses, 56.5, Avalon Toast, 55. And then you go down to number 2, Indian Ocean with Pierce Stradum, 64.5 kilograms on the back.
You've read it exactly the way that I read it, Sheldon. The spread of the weights in this race, I think, allows an opportunity here. As you say, 4 and 7 are my suggested and my numbers in the place accumulator. I just want to start with number 7, Alpha Betty. The fact that she's carrying 11 kilos less than number 2, Indian Ocean, in a handicap. I know that it's all relative, obviously, according to the handicapper's assessment of the various horses. But that is a lot of weight. Over 2,000 meters, I think that brings number 7, Alpha Betty, bang into the play. Cabello Mazzaniani, fresh from 2 winners at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. He had a 2-week holiday, did Cabello. He's obviously come back ready and raring to go. Out of the last run to Alabama Anna ran a good second, but well behind Alabama Anna and Alpha Betty, who ran second. Miss Hannigan came out and franked that form and beat a field probably of the same level as this. So I think she's very much alive, number 7, Alpha Betty. She was once rated a 90. She's down to a 77. She obviously got penalised for being a head away last time, but I think she's at the right type of mark now. And I think just with the structure of the weights, that she is probably the one that they need to beat and is my top selection and represents a bit of value in this race. 4, Say It With Roses is developing. She's improving. She's a full sister to Perfect Witness, who had her best days as a 4-year-old. Kelvin Abib takes her out for Stuart Pettigrew. Life's getting a little bit harder on the back of a £4 penalty, but I think she won a little bit easier than the margin suggested on the inside track last time out. I know she's got good form on the inside track, but I'd venture to say that the more free-striding Vaal and 17 stand-side track would be more up her alley. For me, she had a bit of a flat spot at the 400 and was still able to unwind with that light weight last time, number 4, Say It With Roses. So I'd rather be on the right side of her. Pettigrew started the season like a house on fire as well, so that just emphasizes the confidence behind those 2 horses. Pick 6, probably a couple of others that you need to consider, but from a PA perspective, 4 and 7, I think more than enough to survive that leg of the PA.
Right, next up will be race number 4, and before I hand the baton over to you, I'm just going to give the betting quickly. They were betting 9-2 the field, 3 joint favourites, numbers 5, 6 and 9, and those are your first 3 selections in the place accumulator. 9-2 the field tells you how open it is.
Some of my golden oldies here, Sheldon. A few horses that I've been on the right side of in the past, and they all kind of meeting. I want to start with number 9, Majestic Touch, the only horse who's found support on the entire card at the time of recording. It's not my money, but this horse popped up on my radar a few runs ago. When Raymond Danielson rode it over 1,400 meters, I was at Turffontein that day, and I made a play that whenever this next runs, we're going to get on the right side. And I was surprised that they went over 2,000 meters at the penultimate start, even though he's related to a horse that stayed all day, a horse called Banner Hill, who won over 2 miles at Turffontein. And not much went according to plan. Even though he had draw 1, he just got caught in a bit of a pocket. And I thought his last run to Laughing William was more like it. He's got draw 1. He's probably, at the right type of level now. But can we trust a horse that has flatter to deceive in the past? I I wouldn't now be following those that are getting involved in number 9, Majestic Touch, personally, but I do make him a runner, so he's very much in my play. As for numbers 5 and 6, Blackberry Breeze, I liked last time, went down a length to Apache Sun. Kelvin Habib takes a ride on the son of Silvano. He's got to be very close to winning. He's very much in the play. And number 6, Diesel Shadow, third run after a race. When Gavin Lorena takes a ride for Erico Verdeni's watch out, they are like family, those two. Obviously, Vicky Lorena, Gavin's wife, does a little bit of work at Erico, so knows the ins and outs and probably knows when the right time is to take the ride. I believe that Diesel Shadow probably a length better down the Vaal mile straight, but with that said, his numbers are stacking up that he's going to come in with a good chance. It's his peak run. He's been going close. He was a little bit unlucky not to finish closer to 5th of July last time out. You can see that they mix their form and sort of have that turn visiting the number 1 box when they run against each other, and he's going to be a player. 3 horses in the PA. I'll be shocked if I don't survive that leg of the PA. And maybe in the pick 6, just include number 3, Rosie Lemon, as a little bit of backup. I'm happy to hold the race to those numbers.
Race number 5, it would be an understatement to say that Lawrence Verners doesn't hold a strong hand here, because he's got the top 2 in the betting. Number 5, Rainbow Reward at 7-2. Number 2, the Africa House is at 4-1. And then he's also got number 8, Dr. Faustus, who's found a touch of support, and number 4, Lincoln Navigator. So for the guys out there, how do we put this puzzle together, Alistair?
You know, we've lost the advantage of Gavin Lorena and Johan Janssen van Vuren, because in cases like this, you could just see, right, Lorena's riding that for Van Vuren. That's the one that they sort of going to keep the race alive for. But now that they've taken a little bit of a split and Gavin Lorena's riding number 2, the Africa House, we don't have any clue from the Van Vuren way of thinking as to what's likely to be the fancy from the yard. What I will say, knowing Johan like I do, it's not his style to accept with horses drawn 10, 11 and 12. So that's why I'm taking the stance that number 8, Dr. Faustus, might be the right one from the yard. But I'm guessing, I'm having a stab in the dark rather than having any concrete evidence and having sort of a past playbook to play with. Number 2, the Africa House, and 8, Dr. Faustus are the 2 in my place accumulator. What I would recommend to punters is wait for the first leg of the pick 6, see if there's any support, check the scratchings, and then perhaps make your mind up with this race going into when final declarations and final scratchings are confirmed. Number 2, the Africa House, has been a trifle disappointing throughout his career, but I'm not convinced the handicap has done him too many favours throughout his career. He's down to double figures for the first time in a long time as far as rating is concerned, the son of Water Winter. I've been waiting for him to run in a handicap for quite a long time. He's still sort of dabbling in middle stakes and pinnacle stakes and all that, but Pinnacle Stakes, obviously, he gets a lighter weight. But I don't think he'll be too far away, number 2, the Africa House. I'm not convinced he's got a distance either. I think it's somewhere between 1,000 metres and 1,200 metres, but not necessarily got the speed for 1,000 metres and not necessarily got the stamina. I think let's bump that up to 1,400 metres. So he might be in the right place now, number 2, the Africa House. And then between the Van Vuren runners, I'm just going to think that, like I said, Van Vuren's going to use the draw to his advantage here, and that might be his line of thinking with number 8, Dr. Faustus. But if there are a couple of scratchings and a horse like Rainbow Reward ends up with a more favourable draw, then I might sway my mind. But at the time of recording, it's 2 and 8, but it could end up being 2 and 5 if there are a few scratchings and number 5 ends up closer to the paints. I'm not sure how to read that dynamic from Johan's side.
Catapulting into race number 6, and this will be run over the minimum trip of 1,000 meters. Number 2, Virginia Beach. This is currently your 14-10 favorite, and with that draw advantage, this is a horse who's going to be up the inside lane, running strongly at 14-10. Missed in Scotland 33-10, and then Gloria around 9-2. And just having a look, I see number 3, War Queen, you've included here. And you often find Lucky Hoodalakis on the receiving end with Craig Zaki. So tell us a bit more about this event.
War Queen's my value bet on the day here, Sheldon. I've got a lot of time for her. Craig Zaki takes her out for Lucky Hoodalakis, as you mentioned. Back off a minor break of 75 days. I don't think she's a 1,200-metre horse. I think she's at her best over 1,000 metres. Her penultimate start to Exchange Student stacks up well, because Exchange Student The next start, she ran second to Mist in Scotland, but the time after that, she beat Time for Orchids, a filly rated 110. So not necessarily putting pieces of puzzle that fit together, but there is a link that War Queen brings some reasonable numbers and reasonable form into the picture. And as you say, Lucky Huralakas at the Vaal is just a totally different animal. Even though this filly hasn't won at the Vaal, she's put in some good runs, and I think on a fast-running track, she could be a little bit closer to the pace than usual and could be well poised to strike. I think at 8-1 anyway, she represents some each-way value. Number 2, Virginia Beach at the top of the board's easy to see why. She's my other horse in the place accumulator, drawn towards the inside, as you mentioned, but she's got the pace to do pretty much whatever she needs to. Her last win was sort of a confidence boost, I believe. She started her career with a lot of life. She might have just been held by the handicapper, but on the back of a £2 penalty and with a little bit of confidence, and crucially, 1 from 1 in blinkers and on a very fast track with the pace that she's got, she could be a difficult horse to peg back. I think that the 2 most reliable numbers here are 2 and 3. I'm not going to look too far past them.
Rightio, let's move on to race number 7. And looking at race number 7, your banker is number 5, What a Tiger. 4 out of 5 wins have come over the distance, and probably going to be a popular banker for a number of people out there in the place accumulator, just looking at those stats.
Yeah, I think so too. Just from a PA perspective, I'd be a bit ginger going with What a Tiger as a pick 6 banker, but I can't see this horse missing the first 3, Sheldon. He's just hit some good form on the Vaal run. What a Tiger finished in front of Kinshin Shah and Candler Gold and Don't Shoot the Barman. That's nearly half the field. I know that Kinshin Shah's got an advantage of the weights to at least close the deficit, but I think the engagement of Gavin Lorena is a positive. I think the form of Fabian Habib's a huge positive as well. And the son of What a Winter just seems to be in good spirits at the moment. Over 1,000 meters, as you mentioned, this is his happy place. And on the back of, just putting in good numbers of late and being generously weighted, I think that he's got every chance of backing up those last 2 runs, which have seen him go very close and winning a race. The other horses here, they just mix their form. I'm getting a little bit tired of number 6, Kinshin Shah. Winning doesn't come too easy for the son of What a Winter. I reckon Lucky Huralakas is losing a little bit of patience with Kinshin Shah because I know the fact that he shows a lot more at home, certainly a lot better than a one-time winner rated 77, but he's just not quite putting it in. I don't know whether he's got the heart. I don't know whether it's just a confidence issue. I don't know whether there's a piece of equipment that's probably missing. He's one of those horses that Lucky Huralakas probably scratches his head about every morning. Secret Chord looking for a hat-trick, but on the back of those 2 wins, I think the handicapper might just have a grip of number 7, Secret Chord, but I can see him going close enough. I just think What a Tiger's a reliable play and should be in the first 3. It's as simple as that.
And then we move on to race number 8. And looking at race number 8, they'll be doing battle over 1,000 meters. So sprinting's the name of the game. And let's kick off with number 2, Midnight Fusion. You've gone with 2 and the 12. And this 4-year-old Bay filly, she's had 11 runs for a victory. And it just seems Pierce Stratum seems to get a really good tune out of her. And her latest form line has been franked.
Correct, and I think crucially Pierce Stratum's got a share in number 2, Midnight Fusion, so that's probably why he gets a bit more of a tune out of her. Midnight Fusion finished in front of Ride On in that last start, and Ride On came out and won, so that's going to benefit the confidence to the form line. I think Midnight Fusion now on the back of another rating drop. The fact that she's getting closer with rating drops, I think that's going to set her up well. I don't think she's been the easiest horse for Sean Terry to prepare for races. She's a sparingly raced 4-year-old, certainly by Terry standards, and also when you consider that she started her career with a win, and also the fact that she started as a very early 2-year-old, and here we are nearly 2 months down the line with just 11 starts under the belt. So I think now that she's got into a racing routine and her form is more consistent, that number 2, Midnight Fusion, is set up to go quite close here. And then number 12, Red Carpet Girl. This is probably my top choice in the race. In fact, this is definitely my top choice in the race. The 6-year-old mare under Muzieni for Fani Bronkhorst. Fani's having a good run at the moment. Her last run to Where's the Party sets her up up quite well here. She finished just behind Phantom Express and Wait for Green Light. And all those horses have been bumped up in the weights. And Red Carpet Girl still on 52. She's just in the handicap off her rating of 58. I think number 12, Red Carpet Girl, is going to be very dangerous. If not winning, I think she'll go very close. I think she sets up as a very useful swinger inclusion with number 2, Midnight Fusion. And that will be my suggested play in the final race. Swingers 2 and 12. And let's hope that everything before that has gone according to plan.
Well, there we go. One thing left to negotiate, and that'll be your suggested bet, which they're going to bring up that slide shortly. You've elected to go with the place accumulator. So, Alistair, take it away.
So the place accumulator starts at 1 o'clock on this Tuesday. I've opened up with Banker number 8, smashing after the scratchings. The second leg, I've got numbers 4 and 7, say it with Roses and Alphabeti. Then gone numbers 5, Blackberry Breeze, 6, Diesel Shadow, and 9, Majestic Touch. By numbers 2 and 8, the Africa House of Dr. Faustus in a race that has me stumped a bit. By 2 and 3, Virginia Beach and War Queen, but I'm keen on number 3, War Queen, to give the favourite a big run for her money. Banker number 5, What's a Tiger in the penultimate leg. By 2 and 12 to wrap things up, Midnight Fusion and Red Carpet Girl.
Well, thanks very much, Alistair, and hopefully all the horses do it for us on the track, and hopefully we can make some money at the end of the day. Thanks very much.
Sheldon, always a pleasure.
Well, there we have it. Alistair Cohen on the line on a competitive-looking card, and hopefully we steered you in something in the right direction, and Alistair's numbers are spot on. So have a wonderful day's racing, and we'll catch you soon.